Welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty, and the first of the month means it is time for me to put together a new scrapbooking kit. I am part of the design team over at the Counterfeit Kit Challenge, and our group is all about building scrapbooking kits from supplies we already have on hand. To begin this project each month, we have an existing real-world scrapbooking kit to be inspired by. This month, our inspiration comes from the Citrus Twist kits, and this kit is called the May Round Trip 12x12 add-on kit. Any links for these products, if you actually want to buy this kit in particular and support this company, will be down below so that you can do so. We are going to take a closer look at all of the options available in this kit. Before we move on to that, I just want to say this kit features a lot of Maggie Holmes, the Round Trip collection, as well as a couple of other of the Maggie Home collections, and we have a little bit of Pink Fresh Studio. So let's dive in a bit deeper. Here is an overview of the kit, and when I do this inspirational look at the kit, I try to pick up on elements that I notice. So I'm noticing a soft color palette. I'm noticing some green here as opposed to pinks and blues. I'm noticing word embellishments or word titles, and I know I have this package from Pink Fresh Studio, so I will likely grab that for my kit. Again, we have a little bit more green to go with these pinks and blues. So let's dive in a little deeper. Here are the papers themselves, and I'm seeing some florals, definitely some travel icons, and these are Pink Fresh Studio papers that I have and actually have already used, so I don't have them anymore. I really do like this map print, but I don't own that, so I'm wondering if I could come up with something similar. And then some more florals. Let's keep going. These are the B-sides of the papers, which often inspire me. Back here is actually a little bit of purple to go with the greens, and this green is more of a minty green. So that is interesting. I'm also seeing some hearts and definitely some geometric prints. Here is an embellishment pack. Well, it does have a couple of travel icons, like the airplane and this bus. I'd say in general, this could be any kind of adventuring. Perhaps you're doing a staycation or you're just exploring some new spots around your own town, and even everyday life like pens and a mailbox and ice cream. So I think those are really usable. We've got tickets and tags going on here, so maybe I'll incorporate some of those elements. Enamel dots in different shapes. I think this piece is maybe a rub-on sheet. I'm not quite sure, or I think it might actually be a washi tape sheet that you have to cut apart. There are those title elements from Pink Fresh Studio, and then again this 49th and Market piece. Like I said, I'm not sure exactly what that is. And then a final look at the kit. So with some ideas in mind, let's go back to the overview. I will go to my scrapbook stash and start putting together my own kit. So I'm in my scrapbook room and I pulled a whole bunch of things, and here it is. It's just kind of a hot mess of a pile of stuff, and embellishments are kind of interwoven with papers, so I'm going to separate everything out. First thing I'm going to do is start putting papers into categories. So some of the things that I noticed in the inspiration kit were florals, stripes, geometrics, hearts. So I'm going to start grouping everything together in those types of categories. As I'm working, I will move things to the top of the pile that were really very directly inspired by the papers. In fact, some of them were exact duplicates of the papers. And then farther back in the pile are going to be things that were more of twinges of inspiration, I guess you could say. And so that is how I am organizing this stack to begin with. And once that stack is organized, I'm going to go ahead and start eliminating things because I know this is just more than I could use in a month. But having said that, I got distracted by some embellishments, so I set those aside. And this final category here was kind of those travel and map inspired pieces. All right, moving back to this organization and elimination process, I am going to remind everybody that if there is something that I end up not using in my kit for the month, I do just put it back in my stash. And that's the beauty of the Counterfeit Kit project, because it comes out of your stash and it goes back into your stash. There's no expense or extra storage space involved in this project at all. So I know these first few pieces of papers that I've gone through were very directly inspired by images in the kit. So as I moved to these floral prints, I had two options, and I chose the option where I found the B-side could also be usable. So that's just one little piece of information that helps me pare things down. So now with these map prints, I had two maps and one travel inspired item. And I know that map print with the gold foil is not going to work right away for this kit. So I choose the more watercolory, softer color palette. And then that scooter print is super cute, but it is still a little bolder than the rest of the kit. I put it at the bottom of the stack to come back to later. In the meantime, I have chosen to keep this kind of homey inspired paper that has plants on it, and I eliminated the one with kind of officey icons that was also sort of homey inspired, but it wasn't quite right since this kit has a much softer feel and a very less graphic feel to it. So that one moved aside. So then with this next section of papers, these are geometrics that I pulled because the colors were working, they were geometrics. I really liked them. Plus, they would make either great backgrounds or great layers. Now, this piece of paper I pulled because the arrows kind of remind me of that travel theme, but the navy, I wasn't sure if it would work. But in the end, I decided it could be that pop of richness that helps separate layers from each other, so it stayed. And then moving on to these yellow color support pattern papers, I had to choose which ones I thought would work. I picked the honeycomb icon because there's a story I definitely want to tell with honeycomb. And I eliminated the most harsh of the colors, and I'm leaving the other two to kind of decide later. So these four papers were all inspired by things directly in the kit, and that is going to be my overall color palette. I know we went by it kind of fast, but it's yellow, kind of a soft blue, a soft green, and a pinky peach color. The honeycomb print that I decided to keep had a usable B-side on it to me, so that one stayed. And then the final piece of paper was a pink fresh paper that I kept because it had a similar feel to the floral frame paper, and it makes a very good background sheet, which I've been finding I haven't had enough of in my kits lately. So here is a final look of the papers that were directly inspired by the A-side pattern, and I put them side by side so you can kind of get a glance at what might have been inspired by each. And then of course we've got the ones inspired directly by the B-sides, and finally the ones that were just filler papers that I felt like this kit needed. I'll go over the embellishments just really quickly because I didn't make a lot of changes to what I pulled. I have that phrase set for Pink Fresh Studio that I knew came directly out of the inspiration kit. I did pull a chipboard set that was travel inspired. I have a Pink Fresh Studio puffy sticker set that was home icon inspired. I have a little bit of Maggie Holmes to get her fingerprint onto my kit from the inspiration. And then I have this Cartabella sticker sheet that has some home icons on it that I liked. So the biggest elimination I did was when I pulled out my travel embellishments, and most of it got eliminated. I have a couple of die cut pieces here, and then this little tiny baggie had just bits and pieces left over from other things. And as I was pulling pieces out, I decided there was enough in there for me to find useful that I'm just going to put the whole thing in there. And then I realized I was missing an alphabet set. I'm going to use this die set to cut my own alphas out of probably foam. And then there were tags in the inspiration kit that I wanted to incorporate. I felt like my tag selection was pretty sparse. I did pull out this section of blank tags, and in the end I choose a couple of corks, and then I also choose some little craft envelopes as well as some plain white tags that I can kind of lean in that direction. I did find this ticket embossing folder, which I haven't used in a very long time, so I thought that would be a good alternative to a lot of those tags. So that went in, and after I stopped filming, I realized I forgot my enamel dots, so I grabbed this pink fresh set, and that is going in, and that rounds off my embellishment for this kit and the entire kit itself. So here is just a quick look at an overview of everything one last time. I hope you got something helpful out of hearing my process of how I take a piece of inspiration and how I turn it into my own workable coordinated kit from everything that I already own. I will be back with you in just a couple days with part 2 of that vellum segment that I started yesterday, so do join me then. Until then, have an artful day.